She's a comedian, actress, writer, and host of her new show, The Sarah Silverman Podcast. Please welcome back returning champion, Sarah Silverman. Thanks for being here. First of all, tell us about the podcast.
Ooh, I have a podcast called The Sarah Silverman Podcast. People call in and leave voice messages, and that kind of steers the trajectory of the podcast. And, it's one of those things where I go, how am I going to fill a podcast talking? But it's like when you go to therapy and you go like, what am I going to say? I don't have anything to say. And then 50 minutes later, you're sobbing and your therapist is like, we have to wrap up. And then you're like, this relationship isn't real?
You try to fight for an extra 2 minutes. It never happens.
Yeah.
You just want an extra 2 minutes.
So much empathy until the time is up. And then
it's not an
about,
hour.
No, it is not. It's 50 minutes. Exactly. That's not love.
It's not love.
I remember years ago thinking, my therapist is my best friend. And I had been seeing her for years. And then one day I asked her one question about herself. Do you have kids? Yeah, I have 4. Yeah, that's not a friendship.
Well, I actually think she is your best friend. You're her worst friend.
I'm a compartmentalized part of a new patio on a house.
Yeah, you're the sliding glass door that provided a better view into her yard. Here's what we do. We're going to go through the week's news. I'm going to share some jokes of varying quality, and you can judge them, appreciate them, dismiss them, fix them, ignore them, say whatever you'd like.
The options are almost endless.
So let's get into it. What a week. A big MIT study of fake news found that false information consistently outperforms the truth on Twitter, and it's not because of bots. The study analyzed some 126,000 stories tweeted over more than 10 years and found that a false story reaches 1,500 people 6 times quicker than a true story on average. The author of the study went on to say, "I have a massive penis."
That's a good one. I didn't expect that one.
It was a twist. A little bit. It was unexpected.
And it wasn't even a like, that's clever. It was like it made me go, the onomatopoeia of ha.
Thank you. That's why I moved it up to the top. I thought it had a shot. I thought it had a real shot. Thought it had a real shot. Attorney General Bill Barr is reportedly considering resigning before the end of Trump's term, the equivalent of leaving the party early after clogging the toilet. Just because you left doesn't mean we don't all know what you did in there.
I like it. That made me smile. I like it because it isn't clever.
It's not clever.
I don't like a clever joke. I like a joke that gets me. Well done. 4 out of 5 stars.
Well, okay.
Don't want to spoil you.
Wow.
Don't want to spoil you. I mean, come on.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Armed protesters gathered outside of Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson's home on Saturday night, shouting obscenities, conspiracy theories, and demands to overturn the election results. Oh, great. QAnon is now offering home delivery. It's more of a...
It's cute.
It's cute. It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It is
it's
cute.
Meanwhile, in Idaho...
Very cute.
It's cute.
Sorry. Can someone mute me and then unmute me when it's appropriate?
No, you should interrupt as much as possible. The less I get through, the better the episode.
Moo! That's interrupting cow.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's classic, You
look like you're 14.
Oh my God, thank you.
That's what you're supposed to say to me. I'm just kidding. No, you do. You look like you're 14.
You can't request it. You can't request it. Now I can't. Now nothing I say will be taken. You've made it impossible for me to issue a compliment without you doubting it.
It actually came from a genuine, you just look like you're 14. It's just adorable.
It's the ring light. Here, let's see. Let's see what happens here. All right, Ooh.
Ouch.
Oof.
No, you still look phenomenal.
But not 14. Not 14.
No, you look 19.
Wow. 19.
14.
Wow. If I'm 19, I'm gonna have a beer. Sneak a beer.
You're so bad.
Meanwhile, in Idaho, Ada County Commissioner Diana Lachiondo had to leave a meeting about public health guidance because anti-mask protesters had surrounded her home and were terrifying her 12-year-old son who was home alone. But little did those protesters know her son Kevin had set up traps all around the house because Kevin, he cooks, he cleans, and he kicks some butt.
Is that the tagline of Home Alone?
It's actually like very complicated. They forgot Kevin, but don't worry. He cooks, he cleans, he kicks some butt. It's a very detailed tagline. It gets a lot of information out there.
That seems like a tagline that went through many filters and many lawyers because we're like, this is a child Home Alone. We can't make light of this.
I do think that the reception for Home Alone would have been different if they show the next scene after the wet bandits are arrested, which is Kevin being permanently removed from the home because he was abandoned and it was completely unacceptable. Did not know anyone in the city of Chicago that could have checked on their son? A neighbor? Call somebody? Yeah. You got a kid home alone. It's in the title. It's too young to be home alone for a week. Too young.
Well, it's too young. Latchkey kids. I came home when I was 7. I was home alone. So I came out here and dated a
couple of hours.
Not overnight.
Not a week where your parents are gallivanting wherever they were. Parents fly first. Kids are in coach in that movie.
These kids, it's true. These people are rich.
The McAllisters
they live in a mansion.
Great.
Yeah.
People don't talk about it.
I don't mean to bring up the Sarah Silverman program from so many years ago, but my favorite episode was an episode where I sue the movie Home Alone. And I win. It's just me and then a VHS tape. I set up a prank where when the guy opens the door, a paint can swings and it decapitates him. And he dies.
That's the other thing. Some of those wounds would have been life-threatening.
Yeah. There would have been a wrongful death suit somewhere in there. And a death.
Yeah. Ugh. Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis has tested positive for coronavirus after attending a White House Christmas party on Friday. It might have been unwise to attend, but she just really wanted to see all the ugly sweaters, especially Rudy Giuliani.
All right.
He's sweaty.
Yeah.
He's sweaty of the sweat.
Yeah.
A lot of sweat.
Do you think Rudy Giuliani, if you searched his search history, it says like no drip hair color? With no drip in quotes, trying to maybe find something.
The futility of, okay, let's say your plan worked. Do you think you look younger? Like, you're going to look like Rudy Giuliani up there, all right? Like, do whatever you want. I've said this before. I respect anything a person does hair-wise for men to want to have, longer hair, comb-overs, wigs, weaves, plants, whatever a man wants to do up there to keep it going. I get it. I embrace it. I support it. But Rudy, making the ring around the back of your head beneath your glasses jet black, that doesn't do anything for you.
No, I mean, come on. What is he, 30, 35?
Hey, Mr. Giuliani, when's your father going to get here? We have a press conference,
They should remake the movie Rudy. And have it be about him? No.
So apparently there was a movie about Rudy's life, the Rudy Giuliani story, starring James Woods. And it's absolute garbage. However, it just speaks to how much has changed because Rudy was Time's Person of the Year in 2001. And then soon after they make this movie, it's a absolute complete travesty of a film. James Woods was nominated for an Emmy. I think he may have won that Emmy.
Yeah, that was a time when if any actor from movies does something on TV, you're guaranteed an Emmy nomination.
Yeah, it was just trying to say like thank you for coming here.
Rudy could have been, if he just retired, he could have been America's mayor. That's how he would have been remembered. America's mayor.
He wanted to make some cash and now he needs a pardon. He needs that sweet, sweet pardon. You don't tweet thank you to my dear friend Donald Trump unless you need a pardon, He's got to get that pardon. Sounds a little bit like a Dolly pardon, huh? Gonna issue one of those Dolly pardons, huh? Gonna Jolene on the Justice Department to get myself a pardon, huh?
Oh!
Huh?
Oh!
Stay-at-home orders have gone into effect for tens of millions of Californians after ICU capacities in Southern California dipped below 15%. My message could not be simpler. It's time to hunker down, Garcetti said Wednesday. It's time to cancel everything, and if it isn't essential, don't do it. Of course, while the message couldn't be simpler, the order certainly could have been, as it allowed a host of confusing and seemingly contradictory exceptions. But I will say, Sarah, I've barely been able to keep up. I was at this amazing 7-course dinner at the French Laundry. They do this truffle foam. It's exquisite. It was supposed to be a bigger event, so I cut it down to like 17 people. And honestly, the thing that was like, at first I was worried about doing it because of like the pandemic, but after a while, you kind of get used to being served by people in masks. And then you're able to kind of chill and feel kind of like, you kind of can relax and kind of let your troubles melt away. Because like in a restaurant like that, you don't want to think about the pandemic, you know?
That's a Gavin Newsom gag, right?
Well, you know what? There have been so many people issuing orders and then going on various trips and restaurant meals. I mean, it's not just the mayor of San Francisco did something similar. The mayor of Austin did something similar. Politicians across the country have been issuing these orders and then violating them. And then like, I don't know about, I won't name names, but I don't know about you, Sarah, but I have heard about one too many fancy LA rich people having secret events.
I can't even believe it. I don't trust anybody. I see my dad's 83, and I see him at least once a week, usually more. I can't take that shit home to him.
No, absolutely not.
He's elderly. I just turned 50. I kept it real low key. I had a party of not even 50 people in a really small space.
First of all, I don't think COVID's going to believe you're 50. Come on. COVID, no way.
You are so bad.
Come on.
Yeah.
COVID's like, that's not 50.
I have no power here. Look at her. You're too pretty to get COVID.
That's what people are saying. Bernie Sanders and Republican Josh Hawley have come out for another round of stimulus checks, and the White House has agreed to support $600 checks, which will go a long way to paying off everyone's rent from the first 2 weeks of April. That's just
very good. That's
just
more
tough.
Of a snarky thing.
Little snark.
Yeah.
In Georgia runoff news, Senator David Perdue didn't show up for his televised debate against opponent Jon Ossoff and instead was represented by an empty lectern. Sadly, the debate ended in a tie. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Vote your asses off. All right. Vote your asses off. Just kidding.
I wrote a real simple jingle.
Let's hear it.
Johnny Ossoff and Rothy Warnock for Georgia and the USA. It's that simple. Thanks. Is it genius? No, it's simple. That's what gets into that's the bug, the earworm that's going to win.
So good.
Jon Ossoff's the guy that they made his nose bigger in an ad, so he looked a little more wink, you know what?
A little more New York.
Yeah,
you know?
Little must-see TV.
Yeah.
So that was the code when it was Seinfeld and Reiser and Jonathan Silverman in one string. They'd go, hey, she's a little must-see TV.
Wow.
It was like the three parentheses of the Times.
What a block that was, huh? What a triumph for the Jews.
I know. Male Jews.
I will say this. To this day, because Seinfeld was on, and I remember we got to the Festivus episode, and it was like, am I on Mars? Are we sitting here and pretending that George Costanza is Christian? Like, am I in outer space?
He's Italian, right?
Jerry Stiller is his dad. We're talking, these are non-Jews. These are people that have Christmas presents.
Yeah, Jews play Italians.
I know, but it was a shock to me. I didn't know.
And then Italians play like tough Italians.
Lorraine Bracco played Jewish in Goodfellas, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe her character was Jewish.
Yes.
And her parents were none too pleased with that situation. And that felt very true to me. It was announced that Joe Biden might send Pete Buttigieg to China as ambassador after Kamala Harris made the suggestion to Joe Biden in a Zoom with her camera off, sounding suspiciously like Amy Klobuchar exacting revenge.
Yeah, I don't want to send Mayor Pete to China. It doesn't seem like a...
I think it's cool. I think it's cool if Pete takes on that job. That's a job George H.W. Bush had. It's a really big ambassadorship. I just like the idea of Amy Klobuchar having carried a grudge and somehow managed to take over Kamala Harris's Zoom with Joe Biden to kind of pull the strings. And then it's like, I imagine Amy Klobuchar descending from the ceiling. In my mind, Amy Klobuchar has become a kind of John Wick figure who occasionally
scorched earth.
Call upon her powers, you know?
Yeah. It's funny. Everyone understands why, like, if John Wick gets his dog killed, he's going to murder a lot of people and it will be justified. But, you know, human beings getting killed is just like, hey.
There is, in the film Face Off, there is a moment in which Nicolas Cage in the body of John Travolta, or John Travolta in the body of Nicolas Cage. I don't remember. Both. But one of them ends up in a prison, just a prison, you know, and has to escape. Mm-hmm. And he shoots his way out of the prison. Now the prison just thinks it's a mastermind super criminal. We know as members of the audience that that's actually the good guy in the body. So the good guy in the body of the bad guy has to escape from jail to save the city. But he shoots his way out of the prison. And I remember just sitting there in the theater being like, from the point of view of the people working at the prison, this guy sucks.
Yeah, just murdered. I always wanted to see a movie where it's like the good guy around who's like killing a bunch of people, and then it just goes to one of the people he kills, and you just back up and watch their whole life up until that point.
Or one of those fruit stands that James Bond drives through.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The Federal Trade Commission and 48 attorneys general have filed landmark antitrust lawsuits against Facebook, alleging that the company illegally crushed its competition by buying up its rivals and weaponizing its staggering troves of user data. The FTC is recommending Facebook spin off Instagram and WhatsApp, leaving Facebook to focus on its core business, promoting Dan Bongino and finding ways for high school exes to arrange disappointing marital infidelities. Just more of a thinker.
You know, it's a lot to process.
It was a lot.
Yes, it's
it was a lot. That's something that I'll put too much in. I'll oversee.
But can the joke carry the weight of it?
Sometimes you can. This time seems like maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I would have ended at Dan. What do you say his last name?
Bongino. Yeah, you could have just ended at Dan.
Me. That was
you could
strong.
have just said, you're right. Focus on its core business, promoting Dan Bongino. You know.
Yeah, funny name. True, it's funny. You know, the whole it's funny in a whole myriad ways.
I think that after years of watching Letterman, when in doubt, I just punch the end like he would when he didn't believe in what he was doing. You know?
Dan Bongino. Oh, Dan. No, isn't that familiar as Letterman?
It's very good. The former head of Israeli space security program, Haim Eshed, said that aliens are real and a galactic federation contacted Israel and the United States, but that humanity is not ready. The Galactic Federation said they'd return once we figured out how to get rid of climate change, nuclear weapons, and that overused gif of a woman from Big Brother doing a spit take. Do you know that spit take? Do you know that I'm talking about? That one gif of that woman, she just does a little spit take. Have you seen that in your Twitter?
No.
Oh my God, no, it's relentless.
Sorry.
It's relentless.
But I can picture it. It's just a half spit take. It's not the full spray.
It's like a light spray. It's a light spray. Now, here's our final joke, and you know what? It's a doozy.
Okay.
Lifetime and KFC made a mini movie called A Recipe for Seduction, and it stars Mario Lopez as sexy Colonel Sanders. It's so graphic, you can only watch it on the 11 Herbs and Spice channel. Don't fight for it. Don't do it. I don't want that laugh. I don't want it. I don't want it.
The Spice, do you remember the Spice Channel? Well, here's a joke for you.
I was permanently scarred because when I was like, I want to say 8 years old, I went to a slumber party at a boy's home. I remember his name, and I'm not going to say it. All right. I'm not going to say his full name. And I remember that, like, we had pizza. It was like very normal. And then the parents went to sleep. And then he snuck behind. They had one of those big projection TVs, like the kind of big, the old ones that were kind of like giant boxes that were kind of had a terrible picture, but the big screen, the rear projection ones, you know, like that, like you made it. You had a gigantic, terrible television. But he snuck somehow behind the television, and there was a key that apparently he must have stolen the key from his father. I don't know. But he turned the key, and all of a sudden there was porn. And then I was with this group of kids watching heterosexual hardcore pornography from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. And when I say that those images are seared into my memory, it was harrowing, because I imagine it must have been too much for all the boys, but at least some of them were like, that seems cool in some fundamental way. For me, it did nothing. It was just haunting. One of the parties, it was like there was a New Year's sex party, and it was chilling to the core. And it wasn't until I was older that I was like, oh my God, that's not what a New Year's Eve party is. Like, that's not what adults do. That's just a creepy TV thing.
I recently remembered something, like a major lie I remember telling, which is I was 15 and I went to New York, and I was going to stay with some New York friends that I had done summer stock with, that were grown-ups. Mm-hmm. And this guy said, you know, my day job is giving me a night at the Waldorf Astoria. You can stay there and I'll stay home, you know, my place. So as a 15-year-old kid in a hotel room by myself for the first time. So I meet him the next morning. He picks me up, and he's at the front desk. And he said, there seems to be a $200 charge for adult films. I spent the whole night watching every adult film available on that TV because I couldn't believe I could see naked people having sex. I didn't know it cost money or anything. And I was like, I did not do that. Like, it was I just lied. I mean,
absolute
clearly,
right thing to do.
I'm sure he knew I was lying. My face was beet red. I was probably sweating for the first time in my life.
But it's such a good lie. That is a great lie, because you know you're lying. He knows you're lying. Yeah. You know that he knows you're lying, but you still never have to have the conversation.
Yeah,
you both get to have the lie is just a nice little plexiglass divider that keeps the truth droplets from passing between you, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
To put it in our current situation, you know.
Very current.
Very
truth
current.
Droplets.
Aerosol truth droplets. That's what we're trying to stop with that lie.
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman, thank you so much for being here. We did it. Everybody, please subscribe to the Sarah Silverman podcast. It's hilarious. You will love it. I am so delighted to see you again. Thank you so much for being here.